welcome, everyone, sisters, cousins, girlfriends, boyfriends. You understand what it is. Another week of the uncomfortable truth. I am your host, Mr. Mark McBride. And no, I didn't leave and I ain't going nowhere. And just in case you just happen to be wondering where my co host is, hey, listen, everyone. JB had a family emergency and it just needed her attention. And we want to wish her and her family all of the prayers and good luck and whatever it is that they're going through. I didn't ask any details because it's none of my business, but I know she just needs to be there for her husband and her family. And we wish them nothing but health and happiness. And we'll see her next week. Okay. But, as we all understand, the show must go on. And I know she's here with us in spirit. So we're going to keep it moving. And just because she happens to be missing, we got one of our, guests that are usually coming on the show. She's going to fill in for JB. Everybody give a round of applause for my co-host filling in tonight. Go ahead, operator. Bring her up so we can give her a round of applause. Denisha.
Hello, everybody.
How you been
I know
doing, baby girl?
I'm good. I know JB is the perfect yin to your yang, but I will do the best I can.
I'm sure she's going to just come through you in spirit. She's going to come through you in spirit. And I know everybody's probably wondering, why is Mark just like this? Well, in case you didn't know, Monday was the Godfather's birthday. That's right, Kevin Samuels. And in honor of Kevin Samuels, you know what? I went back and I started watching some of his old material. And I said, you know what? I am not doing this man justice. I need to
Can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up.
I gotta come clean and correct. So, I said, you know what? Let me go ahead and throw on me a shirt and a tie. And to be honest with you, a lot of y'all probably noticed that every time I try to read something on the screen, I'd be saying the wrong words and looking at the wrong thing. I can't see. So I put these on. They actually work. What you think? How I look?
Mm-hmm. They do you justice. They do you justice.
Okay. And just like Kevin Samuels used to do, I'm going to also start having. This is going to be the fragrance of the evening. Okay, this fragrance is Gucci Guilty. All right, I love this. This is a great evening dinner out with your girlfriend type of fragrance, guys. If you're looking for something that's not too expensive and gives you an expensive smell, you want to go and get your Gucci Guilty. Okay, I've probably had this for about I'd say 4 months now, and I haven't even got halfway through the bottle. And a friend of mine, one of my military brothers, he told me about this, and I went out and I tested it out. I bought it, and I love it. So the fragrance of the evening is Guilty by Gucci. Okay. All right. So the first topic of the evening. Well, let's go through all three, shall we? Let's just talk about what we're going to talk about. The first topic of the night will be: do fathers matter?
Mm-hmm.
And I already know that everybody's the first thing you're saying is, of course they matter, of course they matter. Well, we're going to go back and forth, up and down, and all around of why do they matter, and maybe they don't. We'll talk about it. The second one was going to be, of course, was Kevin Samuels right? And all the things that he said and all of the teachings he tried to do and everything that he was trying to inspire young men and old to change, and for young women, young and old, to change. And the crazy thing is, I do not remember a lot of people before Kevin Samuels doing this, but there sure are a whole bunch now. So I think that man created change regardless of what we think. All right, and the last subject is, are men and women equal? Are we equal? And what platforms are we equal? And we're going to continue to go up and down and all around these subjects. And of course, we'll have other individuals come in, and me and my co-host will go back and forth. So back to the very, very beginning. Do fathers matter?
And
Do fathers matter?
absolutely fathers matter.
Okay, so my question is this. If fathers matter, right? Because I hear it all the time on all these different platforms, TikTok, everything, Instagram, Facebook, I hear all these things about fathers. If we had more fathers, and we had more fathers, and if we had more fathers. And before I continue to go on, hey, everybody, if you're out there watching, please make sure that you subscribe, you like, you share. And if you got something you want us to stop and talk about, go ahead and hit the super chat, and we'll stop right in the middle of the show. And we'll talk about that. Okay, back to what I was saying. I hear on many channels people talking about, oh, well, if we had more black fathers, if we had more fathers in the home, if we had more fathers in the home. Well, I did a study. And not only did I do a study, I actually went and called and talked to individuals that I know personally who are fathers of daughters and sons. And I took a poll. I talked to 65 men, 65, right? All individuals that I previously served with in the military. And I asked them one by one, how is your child doing when it comes to your expectations, when it comes to the things that you taught, that you try to persuade, the things you try to prevent? How are you doing? How are they doing? Now, Denisha, let me ask you a question. Before I go any further into that study, what do you believe makes a difference in a child's life when they do have a father and they don't have a father?
So I'm a person who did have my father in the home. I actually went back and forth between my mom and dad for some years, but I realized that father is integral. Maybe not necessarily. Well, I guess it is what he taught me. He didn't teach me as like sit down and this is what you need to do. I mean, he tried to teach me things like oil changes and stuff. But what he mostly taught me is, what I will and will not accept in behaviors from men. So just the presence of my father, seeing how he treated my stepmother, how he was with me, and just his mannerisms. He is why I accept certain behaviors from men. So I don't know if I answer your question, but that's
Well,
mine.
okay. Well, my question to you is this. Did you listen?
I did. I mean, I know how to change my oil. The things that he tried
That's
to
not what
teach
I'm talking about. And that's not what I'm talking about.
Yes, I believe so.
Oh, no. No.
I believe so.
You don't have to believe. You know whether or not your father, everything that he told you not to do, every guy that he told you not to deal with, every time he told you these are the types of men you need to stay away from, did you listen to him every time?
Not every time. Not when I was young, but that was because of naivety, and I didn't know any better. It wasn't until I was older that his lessons made sense to me and I understood. When I was younger, I thought I knew better, but I still would only test certain limits because I was not going to oppose him. He's a very quiet but firm man. So, there was only so much that I was going to do as far as opposition went. But
So what's the difference between you learning from your own mishaps or mistakes, or preventing those mistakes from even happening if you listen in the first place? What's the difference? If you would have changed from the actual pain and trauma from the mistake anyway, because I don't think you're that. I think your intelligence is high enough to where you wouldn't do the same thing twice. You wouldn't gonna make the same mistake twice. What is the use of having a father if you gonna go and do the damn shit anyway?
because I mean, he is if I did not have him, I would have no reference point on what is acceptable behavior, I wouldn't have any reference point on what a good man looked like if I didn't have him. I mean, and you're saying, did I listen? Maybe not at the time, but he matters. He absolutely matters.
Well, that is the whole reason why the statement is right there. Do we matter? Because I have daughters, and all 65 of the men I talk to have daughters. All of them. And guess what? The same answer was, oh, when they were young, when they were younger. That's what we're here for, ladies and gentlemen. That's what the fuck I'm talking about. That's what we're here for. We're here to try to prevent you from falling in the same damn hole your mom and them and your grandmom and your great-grandmom and your great-great-grandma did, what's the use of us being in your life if you're not going to listen in the first place? Out of the 65 men that I talked to, only two of them had daughters that didn't go out and fall in the exact hole that they were trying to prevent them from falling in. Only two out of 65. So, and I just asked you the same question. Now, if that's the case, why are we constantly talking about these fathers need to be in the fathers need to be in home, these fathers need to be in home, when the majority, not some, because we all know that there's fathers out there. We do know that. Mm-hmm. But yet the numbers of our children being born out of wedlock continue to climb. The numbers of our women having all these issues pre-marriage is still continue to climb. Everything is getting worse. So what's the use of having fathers? Okay, we got a comment. Salute, bro. I share my Kevin Samuels birthday tribute on my channel. That's right, man. Hey, we all doing it, right? We all gotta improve in some kind of way to try to show that man respect for what he did. But that's the next subject. I don't want to get off topic. So tell me why you believe that I'm wrong right now in what I'm saying when it comes to fathers being in the home, being in their daughters and their sons' lives, and you still go out and do the same bullshit that the child did that didn't have a father.
Listen,
tell me.
First of all, whoever is out doing, so whoever has fathers in the home, the scale of the bullshit that they're doing out there, I guarantee you, is not the scale as what it would be if they did not have the father in the home. So it may be, daddy said don't, I don't know, kiss on the corner scale versus I ain't got no daddy, I'm going to F everybody scale. Or, you know, end up losing your life, become a hooker, or be pimped out by men. So I think, you know, the scale of your ignorance, it matters. I mean, if I have to think back, if I did not have my dad, I don't know. I really don't know.
Hey, operator, if we got any other guests backstage, let's go ahead and bring them up so we can get some different point of views on this topic. And I know we probably got at least up right there. Hello, everyone. Hey, ma'am, can you turn your phone sideways, please, for me?
Tiffany, turn sideways.
There you go. All right. Can we hear her? Let's get a mic check. Mic check, everyone. What's going on, Stan the man?
What's going on?
All right,
Stan. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you just fine.
Okay.
Can you go ahead and say something, ma'am? I just want to make sure your audio's good.
Sure. Mic check.
Mic check. You're good. We in there. Okay, so the question is, do fathers matter? And what's been going on so far is I've been giving examples on fathers being in the home and individuals not listening to the father's advice, not taking the father's advice, not avoiding the same mistakes that the father is trying to prevent his daughters and sons from doing. And what I'm showing is the same individuals that are growing up without a father and the mistakes they're making are the same mistakes that women and men are making with fathers. So explain to me, how does it matter if y'all ain't gonna listen to your father in the first place? I know it makes you feel better when you have a father at your events. It makes you feel better when you got a father at your birthday party and all that other shit. But tell me, when it comes to results in families and results in mistakes, where do fathers matter?
Fatality.
All right. So I'll just take my little input on it. But I will say this, I'm definitely probably in that 2 out of that 65 that you had interviewed. I'm definitely probably one of those 2. And I think there are several different factors sometimes why we don't listen, but I wasn't one of those girls. I listened to my daddy. I adore my dad. Both my sister and I were both daddy's girls. And my husband, actually, that I'm married to, is my world, and he is identical to my dad. Like, so even though you make mistakes along the way, because that's life and we have to learn and we have to, make those decisions. I will say that I'm probably I'm that number two. I'm one of those that 65. I'm probably that 2%, because my dad and how my husband is now. My dad is very, like, he's very fun, he's very bubbly, he's very loving, he's very affectionate, and he's always been like that. So that's my point of compass, right? That's my true north. And then I had my grandfather, who was very, like, robust and, like, rugged and, very straight laced. So I had pretty good moral compasses in my life. So, and I listened, I didn't straight to the left or straight to the right. And I had to make this decisions and choices along the way. But I would say that, I listened and it worked out for me.
So when you say those mistakes that you made along the way, what are some of those mistakes you made along the way?
So, like, for example, I always knew that as far as a spouse goes and the man that I wanted to be the father of my children, I always knew that, I wanted that person to be similar to my dad. But by those mistakes, that you make along the way, you try to find people because a lot of people, I think, will put on a facade because they're looking for something back too. So they're going to send their representative, to the show. They're going to show up and they're going to send your representative, to whatever is happening. And you kind of have to go through learning the person and seeing what they're about before you start to see their true colors coming through. And so I think that's what I mean. So you're like, oh no, you're not at all what I thought that you would be. And I was married for, I would say, about 12 years, right out of college. And, I thought that was it. I don't believe in divorce. So I thought we were going to be married forever, but then I had to come to some really hard truths for myself once, both of us started maturing and developing over time. And then it just didn't end up working. And I chose to be happy instead of signing up to be miserable for the rest of my life.
Before you married him, did your dad meet this man?
Yes, my dad met him, and I'm from the islands. So my family and his family actually were very close, and his sister was my friend from the 4th grade on.
Well, I'm not gonna lie to you, ma'am. I don't see that as a mistake. I see that as something that you believed and you were deceived. That's two different things. But the thing is, the last question I got to ask you: are you the majority of women?
No, I'm not.
Okay then. Okay.
I'm not. That's why I'm in that two. Those top two, that's where I am, because that's not the majority.
What's going on, Stan? What you got to say about it?
I think for the question, do fathers matter? I think they matter when it's convenient. Because, from my experiences, that's what I see. Society has such a strong pull on kids today. Like, they don't really understand that there's nothing new under the sun. They really believe that what they're doing is some new fad and ain't nobody never experienced it. So when you do talk to them, it's like, this old man don't know what he talking about. Dad stuff ain't like that no more. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really finding myself having to be overbearing to get a point across, because they'll go with society quicker than they'll go with what you say, even though what you say makes more sense. It's just easier, it's more fun, and it feels better from that outside pull that they have on them.
Okay.
What you got to say, co-host? What you thinking about what he said? I see you over there shaking your head.
I see his point. I mean, honestly, in a kid's world, their friends, I mean, sometimes overpower, they just, I see his point. I know that friends can be very influential, and it's probably hard as a parent, a dad or a mom. I know it's hard to pull them out of, to pull them out of it. So, I mean, I see that point that you're making.
I think that the anecdotal information that we got tonight is great, but it does not affect or speak to the majority. So if we're talking about the majority of the black community and the women and men that are coming out of these households with fathers, if they're not listening, if they're not doing what their fathers advise, if they're going against everything that he say, and only time, like Stanley said, is that you're calling your father or you're talking to your fathers if you need money, B, you fucked up and you need him to come help you get you out of the fuck up, or C, you wasn't listening to him in the first place and he got to teach you the same shit all over again.
But those are critical times in a person's life. I mean, at the critical points, if you have nowhere to go, then the scale of mess up is going to be a heck of a lot worse than if they have a father to at least come to. So fail is
fail. If a coach coaches the basketball team and they lose every motherfucking game, what did it matter if he was there? What did it matter? Fail is fail. Win is win. If you don't win, you fail. So you lost, you failed. So if you didn't pass the test and you failed, and then you're like, oh, well, I called my dad and he helped me do it the second time. Well, goddamn it, you would have learned yourself anyway by falling on your goddamn face. Don't step right there or you're going to fall and hit your fucking teeth, and you fail and hit your teeth. Now you got to go get all your shit replaced. You got to go to a dentist. You got to go through all that pain, 2 years of braces and all this other shit. When if you would have listened in the first place, because you were different. You had a father at home. You had a mother and a father, but you still got the same results as Kiki and Boo Boo and Ray Ray and Juju that was at home by themselves playing video games all day, because you made the same stupid ass mistakes. And it wasn't a mistake because you are especially a dumbass, because not anybody here personally. You as the individual are special dumbass because you got instructions on what not to do and you still went and did it. Now, I would give more leeway to the individual that didn't have a father and had a mother that was working all day and night, and he didn't really have no guidance, or she didn't have that much guidance. But you were special kind of stupid because you had a father who set you down, whooped your ass, disciplined you, told you what to do and told you what not to do. And as soon as you got out from underneath his control, you went out there and made a complete fool of yourself and him. I want y'all to understand this, and I want you to think about it. What do you think a father goes through when he spends 20 years of his life investing in a human, and you leave his house and go do every motherfucking thing he told you not to?
I understand, but at the same time, I mean, my kids, people are individuals. We can steer them in the right direction, give them the right information, but we can't control what they're going to take and what they're going to leave on the table.
And I'm so glad you said that, because the reason why I set this shit up and the reason why I said that, because I knew you was going to come back with that exact same statement. Therefore, when it comes all the way back around, I'm using your own logic against you. People are people. They're going to do what they're going to do anyway. So the sentence matter. The sentence down there, fathers don't fucking matter.
They
That
do.
doesn't mean they don't.
No.
That does not mean that they don't
Tell your
matter.
mama you ain't shit.
I'm using your own words against you. I'm doing this for a reason. I set this up for a reason because I knew when I said that, y'all was going to say that. So you said it yourself. People are individuals. They're going to do what they want to do. So what the fuck did it matter if I was in the house or not?
Didn't I tell you, in my case, didn't I tell you when I was young and naive and still figuring out life and figuring out who I was, that yes, I may have, not listened to my dad. As I'm an adult, that the choices that are really matter. I mean, I guess some of your choices matter as you're young too, because it kind of rears you along. But as an adult, I have that reference point. As an adult, I'm dealing with men on a daily basis, and I have a reference point, and it's just a reference point. If I didn't have it, who knows where I would be?
So if I gave you an open book test with all the references, allowed you to look at the book all motherfucking year long. Even allowed you to have the book with you during the test. If you don't use it and you fail, what the fuck was the use of me giving you the reference in the book? It didn't matter that you had the book. It didn't matter that you had the reference because you didn't use it. You went and took the test and failed.
Not always.
That's
That's
what, as a teacher, what would you say to yourself if you came to class every day and gave it your very best and every fucking student failed? What was the use of them having it?
That would be a reflection of the teacher.
Exactly. So what was the use of the teacher being there? You wasn't listening anyway. You wasn't taking the information she gave you anyway. Well, the teacher being there didn't matter.
So what's your name, Mark?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mark. Let's stick with this analogy of this teacher, okay? So I had my 8th grade teacher, okay? She was a nut, but the one thing that she could do correctly is teach math. And I will say that she didn't just, like, math now is crazy. I don't know what they're doing in these streets, but so because everybody has different learning styles, she taught math in different ways. So for example, if you had to do basic addition, she would show you 2 ways to do basic addition. If you had to do long division, she would literally show you 2 different ways to do long division. And as long as you came up for her test, as long as you came up with the answer and you had the answer, it didn't matter how you got there. It didn't matter how you got to that final answer. And for me, she was a nut, but the one thing that she could do, she was able to reach her students. And so because everybody has different learning styles, you know, I'm able to like look at a math problem now and I can say, okay, you know what? I know the answer to this. I know how I got it because she was able to be relatable to me in such a way that I was able to grasp one of the several concepts that she was able to teach me and show me so that I could be successful. Whereas my friend didn't crack a book. She sat there and braided these little strings all day and she just went and so everybody has a different learning style. So the answer was the same, our outcomes were the same, but she gave us different ways, different routes that we can take. And as long as we ended up at those same results, it's a win because everybody learns differently.
Now, Lynn, what you just said was factual. Now let's act like all 4 of us are students in her class. And all 3 of you listened. I didn't. All 3 of you passed. I didn't. Because I didn't listen and I didn't pay attention and I didn't take notes and I didn't study. So my mother's going to say to me, it didn't matter whether or not you had a teacher or not because your stupid ass didn't listen. And that's why you failed. See how that works?
So I also think too, so it's a little bit different, right, Mark? Because your first scenario that you said was all the students fail. Okay, you said if all the students fail, then yes, that's a reflection of the teacher. My son's math teacher, my son's math teacher right now, he is a high school math teacher. He's not an elementary school math teacher. So guess what? The students in his class are failing. Why? Because he doesn't post the assignments in Google Classroom. He doesn't post what homework assignments that they have. So he himself was not equipped. To be able to teach the grade group that he's teaching now because he's used to teaching older kids where he didn't have to say, did you write it down? Did you take notes off the board? So I think it also is a reflection sometimes too on the teacher to make sure that they go in. So if all of us are passing and I see Mark and I'm like, you know what, Mark's over here struggling a little bit, that requires some additional time. That would require some additional attention. And if we're not getting through, like if the fathers are not getting through to their children, and this is a hot topic for me. That's why when, you know, Denisha asked me to come on tonight, it's a very hot topic because I have a 13-year-old man-child in here that after we went through a divorce, he crashed because him and his dad were like this. So I definitely saw it in real life, like play out clear as day in front of me. The difference that the father made. And I talk to my dad every single day. My dad is my bestest friend. We talk every day. He went a trip. He's went on a trip internationally, and he told me. I said, Daddy, I said, you didn't tell me how am I supposed to communicate with you, and you're in these international waters? You know what they're doing out here in these streets? Like, I can't get in touch with you. So, it does make a big difference. And again, like I say, if everybody else is passing and the one student is failing, then the teacher has to change maybe their techniques or what they're doing to be able to reach that child. And that's how I am with my son. Like, I have to be able to, I'm not a man, I'm the girliest thing that you probably ever is out there. So I can't relate to him like the father can relate to his son.
And if the dad wasn't there, if he truly didn't matter and wasn't there, there go I. There go I.
What goes why?
I said, there go I. So what I'm saying is, if you're saying, if we follow the rhetoric that the dad didn't matter, I mean, then there's nobody to change up the teaching technique or whatever, if he wasn't there.
I can see how that could play out and matter when it comes to math. But dick and pussy ain't math.
Oh no, Jeff.
What's going on, man? Good. That's what I'm talking about, boy.
Kevin Samuel.
Representing, right? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I see you, Jeffrey, over there collared up. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Jeff.
Okay, y'all came in right as soon as we was getting ready to transition out of this topic. But before I do, I'll let each one of y'all do your last stance on why you believe fathers matter or they don't. Be good?
Hell yeah, they matter.
Okay.
Absolutely. So, the father is such an important figure in a child, male or female's life, because they understand the world again from that male perspective. Meaning that I have sisters. All right, I'm from a big family. Mom, dad had 9 boys, 3 girls, and I have 4 boys. All right. There's a certain tone. If you look back at it, for those who father was there, if you look back at it, mom can come in and say, "Hey, stop doing this, stop doing this." Dad can come in and either look, or his tone of his voice will damn near destroy your world, and you'll do it. Just that alone, as your two shake your heads, you know that father is very important.
Okay, and after each one of y'all say your statement, I'm gonna ask you the same question. Be good. Tell me in America, give me the community where those results reflect what you say.
Black.
What black community?
In the black community? You saying what community?
What black community?
Well, we can go off, and I like facts. I'm all about cite your source. And I will have to come back to that when it comes to source. But within Black America is the stigma of that black men are not in their households. Actually, we're in a household more than Caucasian.
I didn't say we're not. I didn't say we're not in the household. I'm saying the results of the children actually listening and following their father's advice.
It's a slim percentage.
So that's what I'm saying to you. That's what I'm saying to you.
I'm a firm believer in the world. I'm a firm believer in the parent raised but the world guide.
Well, that's the same thing that she said. Talking about, well, kids are individuals. If that's the case, regardless if you were there or not, if they're gonna go and do what the fuck they want to do, then what the fuck did you spend 20 years of your life investing in this little boy or girl if as soon as she left your house, she was going to go be the hoe of Babylon, or he was going to go sell all the drugs in the town?
I kind of like to look at it. I kind of like to look at it, and not trying to minimize it, but I kind of look at it like the lottery. You buy a ticket with hopes to win. You train that child, and you teach that child with hopes that child will at least hold on to at least 10 or 20% of what you've taught them so that they can be better.
All right, Jeffrey, what you got?
Well, of course, fathers matter. You know, yes, of course, fathers matter. You know, my dad is my best friend, and like you said, you know, I didn't listen to a thing my dad had said, but a few things coming up, you know. And he told me, he tells me now, he says, he tells me that he didn't listen to my granddad and he made the same mistakes my granddad made. I didn't listen to my dad. I made some of the same mistakes, but still in all, my daddy was there when I failed to help pick me back up. And I feel what you're saying. You know, I didn't listen. You know, I didn't listen to warnings from my daddy and God. If you really want to tell the truth, but you know, it's just like God is forgiving and He's there when you make a mistake to pick you back up. That's what being a dad is about. You know, and when you said not listening, the most important thing with me coming up, that the only thing I tell my dad that I wish he would have done that he didn't do is beat my ass. You talking about listening? Fuck listening. You gotta beat the shit out them kids and make them do what you say. You see what I'm saying? Because sometimes they ain't gonna listen, but if you knock the shit out their ass and get their mind right, they might just listen to you. Then I wish my daddy would have beat the piss out of me and made me do some of the things.
See, and you and everybody that's been on here up to this point have just further proved my point. See, everybody here had a father, right? Everybody here had a father, right? Everybody here had a father, right? Now, me, I didn't have my father. I didn't know my biological father. I knew my grandfather, though. My grandfather was the one. Now, I will say, I would not be the man I am today without him. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's no way I would be here without him because of what he instilled in me as far as work ethic and all those things. However, I can't use my anecdotal information to be able to go over the masses and the majority. The majority is showing me and telling me that no, we love our father. He makes us feel good when we look at him and we can say, yeah, I got a dad. And on my birthday, he calls me, makes me feel good. And when I fuck up, he calls me and tells me that I fucked up. But as far as me listening and doing what he told me to do, I don't listen. Okay. A father is a girl's first love. They guide and teach their kids things that us women can't. If a child doesn't listen or follow the steps set out for them, it doesn't mean that the father's presence was it what? Needed. There's another one. Okay, needed. Fathers play a bigger role than people realize. That is a great Hallmark card.
It's the reality.
Sounded fucking beautiful. Made a tear come to my motherfucking eye. However, Black community, let's look at the fucking results. 80% of our children being born out of wedlock. Is that
fatality?
Less than $1,000 in the savings account for the majority of the community. The dollar staying in the community for less than 8 seconds. We are last in every statistical category that you can come up with when it comes to education. The only thing we lead in is incarceration by personnel numbers and children being born to broken families. Congratulations to all the fucking fathers out there that busted their ass to stay with their fucking kids to watch them do the exact fucking opposite of what he fucking told you to do. Go ahead, Stanley.
It doesn't mean they don't matter.
At the end of the day, my method of teaching is I'm still going to push my message, and then I'm going to let you make your own bed. So I give you that rope. And depending on what issues you come back with, I might just make you deal with it yourself. Because I don't like to revisit something I've already spoken of. If a lot of times I notice people can't receive information because they don't like the way that you said it, or you're too abrasive. Your tone turned me off, so I couldn't hear what you were saying. And I tell people all the time, if I tell you not to open the door because there's a blazing fire behind it, and you open the door anywhere and you get burned, I'm not built to feel sorry for you at that point, because I told you ahead of time, but you couldn't accept my message because you didn't like the way I said it. So now you got to deal with that fallout. You fix it. A lot of people don't address issues that way, so it creates an environment, especially for girls. I can go and mess up everything, and my father still gonna help me. So I don't ever have to get right. I can keep fucking up, and my dad is gonna come fix it. I'm not built like that.
Yo, if what he said was real, black people be walking around with bandages every fucking day. Burnt the fuck up.
Well, that
Okay,
is a style.
hey,
That is a style.
Lynn, Denisha, what you got to say? Then we're gonna close this subject out. We're gonna go to the next one.
I just say that is a style of parenting, but I mean, I understand the thought behind what you're saying as far as they don't matter because you're not listening. So but it does matter because at every stage, for example, it is not wrong for a baby to shit his diaper. You don't look at that child in that stage who's not doing what we socially do when we're older. It's not wrong for him to be at the stage he's at. So if you don't have that, I said this already, but if you didn't have the messaging, the dad just standing there, when you mature enough and you're able to receive the message, at least you have the reference point. That if for anything else, that's why your dad matters. Fine, you didn't listen and you bumped your head, but you had the reference point and you won't make that mistake again. And now you may be more convicted because you saw your dad go through it. I mean, you can't say I can't follow that. He does not matter. They matter. They matter.
Listen, I'm not disagreeing with anybody on here when y'all say that fathers matter when it comes to social and emotional, stability and you being able to have, a mental state where you can say I had two people in my life and they both important me. That's all great, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the constant rhetoric, the notion that the only reason why our kids are fucking up is because we ain't got enough black fathers in the household. That's what I'm combating. This notion that, well, if we had more black fathers in the household, we wouldn't have so many young men in prison. We wouldn't have so many broken homes. We wouldn't have so many women with babies unmarried. Listen, you're telling me that this is the case, but I'm sitting here showing you, and I got examples on my screen right now who had great men in their lives, and you did what the fuck you wanted to do.
But he also said they didn't whoop his ass. If you got the dad that's whooping ass,
whoa. They didn't say we need fathers in the house whooping ass. They said we need fathers in the house. So his father was there. It's not his choice. It was his choice whether or not he's going to put his hands on his child or not. But what I'm going off of is y'all said we need more fathers in the house. So I'm imagine right now, I'm a genie. And I'm going to automatically put a father in every black house right now. Bam. Every black woman got a man right there. Now, are you telling me in the next 19 years?
No.
Exactly, Lynn.
No.
Thank you,
no.
Lynn.
No. And I will say that because guess what? That father has to be engaged because that's a different topic, maybe for a later time. Because if that father is not engaged in that child's life, and if he's not working with that kid or that, your family, or the children, if he's got to be sowing seeds into them, regardless of whether they listen or not. We as parents have a responsibility and obligation to care for these children and to train them and to teach them. And then they'll have a choice. But I would say no, because you have some fathers that are very absent, and they're in the home every day. I have some friends now, both her and she's one of my best friends, her and her brother. They're very successful. They did great, but it was the mom who held it down in that home. The dad literally went to work and came home, but it was the mom that was like, okay, let's go to church. Let's go to school. Make sure your hair looks good. Did you brush your teeth? Like, fine tuning the children, you know. But I will say no. I would say that is not 100. I would say I would have to agree
I
to what
agree
you're saying.
I agree to a
Because
certain point.
the father figure has to be invested and has to be plugged in order for that to be successful, whether they're in the home or not.
And guess what, ladies and
Mhm.
gentlemen? It doesn't have to be the seed provider to be the mentor to that child.
That
See,
is correct.
as a woman, it is your responsibility to make sure that boy or that girl has everything, including all the necessary people to pour into that. But that's not what we do today. Everybody wants to do shit by themselves. Everybody want to do shit all to their way. So if you don't include, because your man that you had that child with could be the biggest beta simp on earth, ain't not one drop of masculinity in his sweet ass, but you just happen to like him. It's your job to put your son around masculine men so he can also get that trait. Y'all got to stop this. Oh, well, the guy I had sex with ain't around, and that's why my son is scared of fucking grasshoppers and gas and shit. All right. You know, if anybody got anything last to say, I'm going to go ahead and transition. Denisha, you good? You ready?
I'm good.
Okay,
Yes.
operator. Let's go ahead and transition to the next one. Ladies and gentlemen, the next subject of the night is, was Kevin Samuels right? God damn it. Hey, can we just give a round of applause for Kevin Samuels, man, and the life that he lived, and the knowledge and the power he gave us black men. Hey, listen, before I even get on this and before I go around, does everybody know who Kevin Samuels was? Number one. Lynn, do you know who Kevin Samuels
Barely.
Negative.
You can't make this shit up.
is?
You can't make this shit up.
Okay, hey,
He's not someone
Good.
that we would typically listen to.
Well, okay, I'll tell you what. I'll put a picture up of him, and then we'll go from there. And just so you can see his face and see what he actually looked like. I'll change my background to him right now. Okay, how about that? Y'all can see that right there. Okay,
Mhm.
Batman right behind me. Okay, all right. That man was a pioneer. You know, he did something that very few individuals had the courage to do. This man stood up on a public forum in front of millions and said the unthinkable. You're average at best. Told a black woman to her face that she was average at best. And it shook the world. Black men and black women alike were all over them with their mouths on the floor, eyes poking out their head, and couldn't believe that this man would say this to this woman and actually speak to her out loud about her delusion. And that right there sparked the world that we know today. Me and thousands of men like myself have followed his lead and said, you know what, we have issues that we need to talk about. And even though his passing came unexpectedly, his messages and his words continue to ring like Tupac in people's minds. I listen to this man as if he was dropping an album every week. For 2 hours straight, sometimes I would sit and listen to him while I was either on the job or I was working on my own home. And the things he spoke about was the delusion of our women and their unrealistic expectations. And he also spoke to men about their levels that they needed to be at before they could even think of having a wife or a home. This man stood out there and took many arrows in the back and swords to his heart. And the saddest part was when he passed, they celebrated his death. And for black men all over the world, for us to see that and witness that, it opened a lot of people's eyes. It helped me find a woman that I'm currently with now because it made me unattracted to the things that I became accustomed to, the things that I thought were going to be the norm, the things that I thought they couldn't change. Well, that's just how our women are. Well, listening to that man, he made me say, no more. And he also sparked a revolution called the Passport Bros, which these are individuals that have given up completely and just said, you know what, I'm packing bags and I'm on my way out of here. I'm going to go find a better life for me because I deserve that. And we're talking about men on every level, $50,000, $60,000, $100,000. It doesn't matter, of all races and all ethnicities and all religions. So tonight, even though your birthday was Monday, wish you a belated happy birthday, Kevin Samuels. And this segment is dedicated to you. Thank you, sir.
Do you have your passport? Did you get your shots?
Mark, can we do a drink to him? Maybe get a drink.
Yeah, let's have a drink. Let's have a drink.
Like, I might drink it.
Gentlemen, if you ain't got a drink, to Kevin Samuels, Godfather. Rest in peace. Rest in peace, Godfather. We will keep your message alive.
That was a good one.
So the first subject on this topic will be the delusion of our modern day woman. And this is what I'm talking about. Was Kevin Samuels right when it comes to the expectations, the unrealistic expectations, and the delusion of what women expect to get on a daily basis from these mysterious men that they're still waiting on? Lynn, I see your eyes up in the air. Well, I'm sorry, Denisha, you're my co-host. I gotta let you go first. Go ahead.
All right. So I did see some of his clips, and for the women that, the very few I saw, for the women that would get onto his show and be demanding when he asked, well, what do you want in a man? And they're talking about, oh, he got to be 6 figures and he's got to be this. And like the list that the women had for, I mean, I won't say that in some instances he wasn't wrong. My issue with Kevin Samuels is his, just like we said in the last segment, his delivery. I mean, fine, you can let a person know that, ma'am, everything you're asking for, looking for in a man, you don't match. You're not equally yoked if you get what you're asking for in a man. But he went beyond just letting her know, okay, you're not equally yoked. You're probably not going to find that. It was, I mean, tearing them down to the point where they had, little self-esteem left. That's what my issue with Kevin Samuels is. I mean, fine. Some of the time, some of those women are delusional. Okay. But you don't have to beat a person to the point where they're bloody and stumped. I guess maybe being a female, I know men, when men fight, y'all fight dirty. Okay. Y'all are happy to see, you're not happy unless you see blood drawn. Hey, listen, I'm just talking about, you're not happy unless you see blood drawn. You understand, when you're in a fight. But to take that to a woman and kind of use the same principles, and of course, we're not talking about, he didn't physically bloody anybody, but the emotional hurt that probably happened to those women is probably going to be long life lasting mental issues. So that was my quarrel with Kevin Samuels.
You can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up.
Fucked up.
Okay, Lynn, go ahead. You're muted.
I may not be familiar with him, personally, but that statement, that your opening statement, can you repeat that?
Talk about me?
Mine?
Yes.
Yeah,
Mark.
I want you to speak on the delusion that he spoke about that women have when it comes to their expectations of men that they feel like they deserve.
Okay.
You understand?
Yep. So I have a friend right now, and I'm talking about these delusions, right? Because all of us have these expectations, just like you said earlier. He has helped you to change your expectations of the female that you're with right now. And what I will say is that I have a friend right now. Okay, she is 52. She just went through all kind of like reconstructive body surgery. She just did the absolute most. Okay. And she called me the other day. I hadn't talked to her for some time. And she called me the other day and she was just like, Tiff, she was like, I need some advice. And she was just like, how do you get them? Like, how do you get these men? Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, what am I doing? Like, So when I'm talking to her, she is delusional, like 100,000%, because she's now done reconstructive body surgery because she's trying to fit what she thinks the standard of what men is actually looking for, and she's still by herself. She's still alone. She's never been married. She doesn't have children, and yet she's gone through just like major stuff to her body, right? So I'm listening to her the other day, but she's delusional because she's just like, oh no, now that I've done all this stuff, she's like, I want to be like a stay-at-home wife. You want to be a what? You want to be like, you can't let certain things come out of your mouth. That's a privilege. That's not like a right just because you went and had all this body work done. And then you're calling me talking about, can you give me some tips? Be yourself, like be your true version of like who you are. And she is delusional because she will literally say things to me as we're talking. She was just like, oh no, I work too hard. He has to make 6 figures. He has to live in a certain community. And I'm looking at her like she's crazy. Like, I'm like, you're nuts. You're gonna be with nobody for the rest of your. She's like, oh, they just want me for my body. Well, that's what you did your body for, right? That's
Ain't nobody got time
now
for
you're
that.
their playground. You're their playground. So she is delusional, and she's not gonna end up with anybody because I like once. Works both ways, like I told her to go watch the movie The Hustle because that's the level that I think that she just needs to be playing at right now because she's just that delusional with what her expectations are of herself and how she's supposed to be when she finds this miracle man, which she's, like I said, she's 52. She's never been married, never had kids, and is just ends up doing all kind of stuff because she's delusional. So I stand behind him. Like as far as him being, derogatory or degrading women, no, because the reality of the matter is that, I was taught to be a strong woman to no matter what happens, I have to be able to provide for myself, provide for my son. But that doesn't mean that I respect my husband any less, So like I have a whole lot of respect for him. He has a whole lot of love for me. And we have a mutual respect for each other and realistic expectations, especially because this is his second go round and this is my second go round in our marriage. So the things that mattered to us or what we thought mattered to us initially didn't even matter. They didn't matter, but they mattered to us because we didn't have that experience and that exposure. So now, we're in a whole different world of like appreciation and love because we had to go through some things to be able to both come to where we are now to know what really matters and what doesn't matter.
Boy, Denisha whole life just left her face. She was like,
but I know that I've heard of the friend that she's talking about, and like I said, the unrealistic expectations. I mean, that is what it is. My problem with Kevin was how he didn't just let you down; he destroyed you
but
in
see,
the process.
no,
And I know.
no. Hold on. There's 2 things you're missing. Number 1,
Okay.
if you actually watched his material, he started off every show the exact same way. He started off with a smile. He would start off talking about the fragrance of the evening, the candle of the evening, what he was wearing, and he was all positive. And usually he'd get 1 or 2 guests in that came in, and the whole reaction was positive. The problem is those weren't the clips. The clips were only the time when he had negative reactions with people, and he mirrored energy. If a woman came in there all extra spicy, he would get extra motherfucking KFC spicy with their ass, and he put on some extra hot sauce. So if you actually go back and watch his content, you will see that that's not how he was with every individual. He actually put together people and got people married. He actually started a group on Facebook where he was bringing high value men and women who wanted to be married and brought together and had 8 couples in 1 year who actually proposed to and had a date to get married. So no, that's not what he was. And you also got to remember, these women knew who he was, voluntarily came on his show and asked for his motherfucking advice. So they knew what they were getting themselves into. My baby just wrote me a message and said that. That's a woman who said that. She said, hey, didn't these motherfuckers ask for this shit? So I'm gonna ask you a question. If you had a son and you sent him to the football coach, and the football coach is sitting over there like, come here, Johnny. what I want you to do next time is I want you to give me an extra push, okay? I want you to run as fast as you can, Johnny, and I want you to make sure you hit that guy and give it everything you got, okay? Give me a hug. You probably be like, who is this sweet ass motherfucking coach? Some people
You're right.
need hard leadership, like this
Mhm.
young man underneath me. I had
Mhm.
to fuck him up a couple of times,
Fatality.
but I wasn't going to allow him on my watch to fall through the cracks. And he made sure he understood that I was family,
Mhm.
but he also understood that business was first. Okay,
Mhm.
go ahead, Mr. Bedgood.
How's everybody doing?
Pretty good, pretty good.
So check this out. So many times I am, which I am proud to say that, and I do well for myself. I am proud to say that I am one of those top tier 6-figure guys. I do okay for myself. I'm married, but I've also had the undesirable pleasure of meeting women who I call them build a body bitches. I don't give a fuck. So they come up and they'll see what you're driving, they see what you have, they see what you do. And I've had this young lady who tell me that I want this, and I've said this on other episodes. I want this, and a man need to have this, and a man need to have this. Mind you, they got like 4 or 5 different baby daddies. So you telling me you want me to have this, but all you got to offer me is used fucking pussy.
Ooh.
You could build your body all the fuck you want, but that pussy got about 300 fucking miles on it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
Lejeune Boulevard, that's where the fuck that damn pussy sit. Right there on Lejeune Boulevard.
Yeah.
I tell your mama you ain't shit.
La Mirage. Now, I shall say some shit like this right here. Is this right here? The idea is that the media goes like this right here. I go with the young lady they call her Cardi B. Salute to that sister, but making her money. But she says some shit like this right here. I don't cook, I don't clean. But people fail to realize she's a millionaire. Beyonce said, what's the shit she said?
To the left. Everything you own in a box to the left.
Yeah, to the left.
Can replace you.
Yeah, but Beyonce with that billionaire though, ain't she? The
right
people out there are the I call them local women, not those millionaires and billionaires. So those women who are with those billionaires and millionaires, and like I call myself a good thousandaire, is that they gonna listen, but a lot of women will be dumbass and say, "Girl, hell yeah, I can't believe the nerve of him won't buy you this, won't do this. Girl, look at you, you a bad bitch. You went over there to El Mexico, you went to Santo Domingo and got your body done. You a bad bitch. Look at that damn child when you're look at that child's a spitting image of you. Look at that child. You ain't no bad bitch. You a built together bitch." Look, I know Denise. You like shit. Here's my. I'm gonna go ahead and put this all together. Boil down with this right here. Today's society, what I see the women, today's society is all about an entitled fucking mentality. Okay. Entitled mentality. I got plastic here or silicone or whatever it is. I got this, so I'm bad. You're supposed to do this. You're supposed to buy this. You're supposed to do this right here. What are you doing? I'm the prize. Motherfucker, you sitting here with 4 different baby daddies. Get the fuck out of here.
Now listen to me. The shit that he's saying, the stuff that he's saying is being repeated every day. I promise you, before Kevin Samuels, you didn't hear men talking like this on a regular basis. We were just like, hey, oh man, this, that, and the third. We were so accustomed and used to women doing what they needed to do to get what they wanted. It goes all the way back to like the 80s and the 90s where women were just out dancing and they were making movies about the Players Club. Girl, use what you got to get what you want. That's what we grew up listening to. We grew up hearing this. And now that we're all adults, he opened men's eyes to see, no, that's all superficial, man.
She a stripper. Don't grab her ass. You being disrespectful.
What you got to show me ain't got nothing to do with who you are for me. What you got to show me ain't got nothing to do with who you are for me. So now men are asking these motherfucking hard questions. And you got a whole bunch of women like, what are you going to bring for me? What are you going to do for me?
We don't care about what you make and what you do because we're not privy to it. So we don't care about that shit. We honestly don't.
Go ahead, Jeffrey. Don't say nothing. You're going to get in trouble.
I don't give a shit.
Well, first off, I think they need to be a thorough investigation because one of these bitches killed Kevin Samuels. He ain't just died. That's number one.
I was just going to say that. That's mysterious, my ass, because I agree, Jeffrey. I agree.
That man ain't just up and die. That's that for real. That man just up and died. But Kevin Samuels, to me, it was a lot of entertainment. That's how I look at it. It was funny, and I talked to Danish about this earlier. The people that called his show that he got into it with, they called his show. If you don't like what Kevin Samuels has to say, then what the fuck are you listening for? And what are you calling the show for? If the shoe don't fit, don't wear it. Go on here and listen to somebody else. But I thought it was entertainment, and I love Kevin Samuels because all of the movies are centered around dudes cheating and dudes messing up. The books, the radio, the talk show, it's always bashing men. Even like what he was talking about, bashing fathers, saying they got fathers in the home, deadbeat dad, don't want to do this. They just bash men all the way around. So it was nice just to have a guy to tell these women straight up how it is, because a lot of times we don't do it. I like your boy was talking about. I've been on dates with girls. They don't have shit, and then they want to order. They want to order steak and lobster and hookah and Hennessy margaritas. Bitch, you can't afford this your goddamn self.
Are you crazy? Are you out of your mind?
Not talking about me.
Yeah.
No, I know he ain't talking about you.
and here come the lady waiter talking about you want dessert. Bitch, get your ass from my hand. Nobody asked you no dessert.
Hey, he make a good point, because you got 30,000 a year women talking down on $50,000 men, talking about they broke.
But in women's defense, a lot of you can't put all women in that category.
No.
I can't put all women in that category, but there is a select group of women that carry themselves like that. But with the body stuff, bro, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. Some of these women out here, they need to get that body surgery, bro. If they living out here in Atlanta, they ain't got the body work done.
I mean, they needed to make money. You're right. They needed to make money,
compete, bro. If they ain't got their body work done, then it look like they a broke bitch. That's how it is out here in Atlanta.
See, I know he ain't talking about Nisha because she got money. She make money.
So I was just gonna say, I will just speak for Denisha and myself. And what I can tell you is that when you are a woman, you have to position yourself to where you're not anybody's leftovers. You're not anybody's sloppy seconds. You see what I'm saying? So you, Denisha, and I both do very well for ourselves. So I didn't have to look at my husband. I actually looked at my husband not for what he could do for me or for what he could provide, because quite honestly, I'm doing just fine, but I'm more looking at him.
Huh? What did he provide then?
So, oh my goodness, are you like, other than just like, yes, he adds to the financial stability, but there's so much more. There's so much more collectively that we can do together as a unified couple. Like, you see what I'm saying?
Such as what?
Oh my goodness, for our children, balance for our children, our home, quality of life, doing things together. My best friend.
You say you provide that. What did the husband
No,
provide?
no, we provide. I'm talking about financial stability as far as we don't have to be out there shaking our tail feathers and doing all
Right.
this kind of stuff.
You say you're already making hell of a money, but so what did the husband provide then?
He provides money too. I
No,
mean,
no, no. You already making the money. What else did he provide? Because you don't need that money then.
So I'm not looking. So I'm able to look at my husband, not for what he can do for me, but what we can do for each other as a united front. Like, you see what I'm saying?
And how they can build.
Such as
Everything. Our lifestyle, our future, our dynasty, our children, everything. You make life together, because it's not about just finances.
You give me vague answers.
The whole rest of life.
Such as what? Like what?
So
like,
I can let me.
Like doing the rest of life, because finance is just a part of it.
Tag her in.
Huh?
You're stumbling. Tag her in.
I mean, no. So like everything, like we live life together, we do life together. I'm not looking at him as just a provider of like what I can get from him. You know what I mean? We raise our children together. We go out together. He works just as hard as I do, but I'm not looking at him to say, oh, I'm going to treat you any certain kind of way because you make more than me or that you make less than me. When you come together as a united front, you're doing it as a union to make life together. Period, on all fronts.
Every person, so you have that relationship of two. Each one have roles.
Yes.
You said we do well for each other, which I believe, and trust me, I know Denise does pretty amazing for herself. So I'm going to concur that you do as well. So what I'm saying is that what does he do to bring extra to you?
Like financially?
Listen. Okay. So I've been privy to their relationship, and I can speak for what I think he's saying, Tiffany. For example, what comes to my mind is what he's saying. Huh?
You say you think what I'm saying. I'm telling you what I'm saying. I'm not being rude. I'm telling you what I'm saying.
But we need some examples of what you mean, because I think
that's your job. That's the question. That's the question. That's your job. I've delivered the question, so now you got to give me the answer.
I'm interested in the answer. That's why I'm not jumping in. I'm letting him do what he want to do.
Because I gave the question.
Okay, so maybe Denise and I are confused. Can you reword the question? Let's rephrase the question.
Hold on. The question is, you said that you two do well for each other, well for yourselves, which I know. What I'm saying is that you're saying that I got this what so what does he bring to the table? Because you do so well. What does he bring to the table?
Why did you marry him? Why did you marry him?
Okay, there we go. I married my husband because he is amazing. He's funny. He's talented. He's an excellent father to our children. He's a provider. He's a worker. He's loyal. He's family oriented. Like the list goes on.
Provider of what?
Provider for finances. He's a provider for resources. He's a provider for everything. He takes care of the bills.
You do that though.
No, we both do.
They both do.
We both
do
together.
Who makes more money?
I make more money.
Does he give a shit about your money?
He does not.
That's what the fuck we're getting at. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he does not.
I think I'm going to start. I think I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to have a show. I'm going to talk to the network and see if I can do a show where I'm just going to bring on women like Kevin Samuels did, and we're going to go over these questions. But because the good thing is, I think the number one thing he was asking for you to say was he was looking for you to say he provides me protection.
All of it. Bam. All of the above.
Listen,
all of the above.
No, but you didn't say that.
Can I tell them the story, please?
Yes, tell them.
Yeah, but you got the answer now, so of course you're gonna tell me the story.
Hold on. Let's let Stanley go. Hold on. Let's let Stanley go because he's been sitting there waiting patiently. Go ahead, Stanley.
Time for a read.
The way I see it, especially with today's women, they're extremely offended when they feel or think a certain thing, and you don't feel or think the same way. It's like they don't understand that it's roles. You have different genders. We're built differently. Like we can strive to reach the same goal and still think about it differently. But women are so offended when you don't feel the way they feel. So when I do meet people, especially women, and even my wife, I tell them off the rip, I don't give a fuck about how you feel, because how you feel is not gonna get nothing done around here. Now, what I do, I care about your well-being, I care about your health, but your feelings, they're not tangible. That's just how you feel. That's your experience. Your feelings don't have to be my experience. So I dismiss other people's feelings.
Can
What
I
you was gonna say
chime
to
in?
me?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Tanisha.
Okay, so
Leah's face looks like she just got through
Oh
smelling
my
baby
God.
shit.
It doesn't matter what your wife
Hold
thinks
on,
or
hold
how
on,
she
hold on,
feels.
hold on. Let Denisha go. Go ahead, Denisha.
So I mean, to hear, I don't give a f about your feelings. We understand, and I know the next segment is are men and women equal, and I
Mhm.
understand that men have a thought process and thinking of the world in a certain way, and women think in the world in a different way. But that whole protection thing that men do for women. You seem to want to stop at physical protection, but if we are primarily emotional creatures, if you are protecting us, that is an element that you need to protect, sir. I mean, our mental
What do
state.
your
If you
emotions
are the
benefit?
man and you if you are the man and the
What do
leader in
your
the room
emotions
and you
benefit?
are causing chaos, I'm sorry, let me finish. And you are causing chaos for your woman because you don't give a fuck about her emotions, you're not protecting her. You are causing her strife and discord in the home.
That's a
So
modern.
protection extends beyond what you can physically do. I need to be a whole person, a whole being. And if you're going to protect, then goddamn it, you got to understand that I'm an emotional being and protect me in that as well. I'm sorry.
So
I don't buy into that.
what does the woman provide?
She is the opposite. So if you guys are the physical
No, go, I
protection,
want you to go one by one because I want to rebuttal each one if you don't mind.
you want to rebut what a woman provides in a relationship?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So it's gonna go towards
No,
I
no,
feel
go
like this
ahead.
goes more into the next topic.
Don't sway the jury.
It
Just go
goes
ahead with
into
your
the
answer.
next topic. Are men and women equal? I feel like men and women are
I'm
the
here to
opposite
instruct you
side
before
of.
we preach. Don't pre-teach. Go with the question I asked you.
I am. I just can't. So because I'm a woman, my mind is gonna circle around. You have to be able to follow me. If
You're
you're gonna
losing on
get,
the
I
murder
gotta
board.
be
You're
able to
losing
say
on
it
the murder
all.
board.
Men
I'm with
want to
you,
go
Denisha. I'm with
direct.
you. I'm
I
following you.
understand.
Go.
A
I'm
man,
following
you
you.
want it to be like this. I'm not a man, so I'm gonna get you there, but you got to be quiet and be willing to follow me, okay?
Shit, Rob,
And
go
if
ahead.
you're not willing, you're just gonna be frustrated.
As you
So
are.
what do
As
you
you are.
want?
As you are.
Okay.
As you are.
So what I'm saying is I believe that men and women are opposite sides of the same coin. God gave you guys the primary, like the primal stuff. You guys, if we go all the way back to the primal days, you guys were the ones that had to have the physical brute force to go out and kill the food and bring it back and all that stuff. Okay. Women, he didn't build us like you. We're built the opposite of you. Yes, we have nice, beautiful, fine curves and everything else. We also think opposite you. But where you guys lack, so when a man and woman come together, you think one way and you think that it's only right. But when you lack the woman side of it, when you don't appreciate what the woman is countering you and bringing to the table, how do you expect to be a balanced
Denisha.
being,
Denisha.
a balanced
Denisha.
union?
Let me
Yes.
reel you in.
No,
So
no, 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 no,
Please.
no, no. Tag me in, Nish. I got you. Tag me in.
I
Tag
want
me
this
in.
for both of
Tag
you,
in,
man.
sis.
Man, it's for the both of you. We're both, Mark, wake up. We're both married. Okay. I'm married to each one of you. Don't worry. It's the question for each one of you. What do you all bring to the table?
I'm about to tell you. You give us a house, we make it a home. You bring us some
How do you
flour,
make it a home?
we're gonna bake bread. Like that's just how we're designed.
You
How
bring
do
the
you make it a
hardness,
home?
we'll bring the softness.
No.
Absolutely.
How do you make it a home?
By making it comfortable. So like absolutely. So
You don't care
you
about
bring a house,
comfort.
right? Okay,
You
because
don't
my house
care
is my
about
sanctuary.
comfort.
Yes, you
Right?
do
I'll
care
tell
about
you
comfort.
something.
I think
Yeah,
My
but
house is my sanctuary.
Ask your
So
question.
when
You
my
said you make
family
it.
comes
Hold
home,
on, Lynn. Let me. You say you make it comfortable.
yes,
How do you make it comfortable? Because I'm comfortable in my car.
I'm about to tell you. So people come home, right? And you're at work, you're at home. When my family comes home, the shit that I do for my family is intentional. So if my husband comes home, for example, and I know that he loves to come home to my cooking, I'm gonna make sure that he has a nice meal on the table. My
Okay,
husband
so I
loves
can go
to
to a
fish.
restaurant. Go ahead.
Huh?
So you're saying I can go to a restaurant, but go ahead.
It's not the same.
Continue. No, continue.
Okay, it's not even the same. So you come, so I come home. If I know that, for example, my home is my sanctuary. My home is where my family can come. My home is where when you people don't look forward to coming home because of contentious relationships.
You're
They
doing this.
don't.
Answer the question.
We are the
That
peace
is the
to your
question.
chaos.
There,
That's what a woman is. We are
That's
the
what's
peace to your
important
chaos.
to you.
What we're supposed
No,
to
When
do.
you cook,
so you clean that.
that's
You clean
important
that
to
home
you.
to make it right, correct?
say it again.
You
I
clean that home,
believe
the home that we provide. You clean that home and make it correct.
Yes,
Oh yeah,
because
we got a maid. We can spend $30 an hour and get a maid to do that.
no,
cook
because
and
when my husband comes home, my husband knows that my heart is his refuge. Like his refuge is my heart. So he's coming home to a wife that loves him, that cares for him, that is interested about how his day was, and you're gonna do whatever you need
She's
to
a
do to be
sounding
able
board
to.
for him.
Yes,
You just named everything that is important
They're a
to
sounding
you.
board for each other.
honey, you want to get on here and talk to these guys?
Hold up. Can I
Bring them
bring your
on. Bring
husband
them
in.
on,
hold
girl.
up.
Bring my husband.
Can I
Bring my
ask you a
husband.
question right quick?
Listen. I think we're going down a few
rabbit
rabbit
hole.
holes, which I
We
didn't
are.
mind because I just wanted to see the responses. But the main thing is we have to remember that what you require from men and what your expectations are of men have become a little delusional. And I'm not talking about the women on here because y'all have already you're already established in a relationship. Like the woman she was talking about earlier. Do y'all women believe that women today are delusional? It's a yes or no question. Are women
Yes,
delusional
yes.
hold on, let me finish the question. If they believe that they should have, regardless of what their body count is, regardless of the mistakes they made, regardless of how many kids they have, regardless of their income, they deserve the type of man that they want.
No.
Is that okay? No. So y'all believe that that's not true, right? So women who believe that you also believe that they're delusional, correct?
I do.
Okay. So when you have a man like Stanley, when he's going to provide, protect, and profess, but he's not all into the emotional side of things, right? When it comes to provide, protect, and profess, that's what he is, and that's what he's going to do. And you can guarantee that he's going to do that. There is not one human, not one man that you're ever going to find that's going to be able to check every fucking box that you want. So it's almost like you have to make sure that you aren't the problem and you're not preventing your relationship to go further, because instead of you focusing on the things that he is giving you, you're steadily focusing on the things that you don't got. And when you come into a relationship selfishly, always thinking about what you deserve and what you should get, 99% of the time, you're going to lose. And that's what Kevin Samuels was trying to teach us men, that you are important too. You are the prize, because there's a dime a dozen of beautiful women. There ain't a dime a dozen of men that are out there doing the right thing, that are law-abiding citizens, middle class and higher individuals that's willing to stick with one woman and stay with her for the remainder of his life. That is not the majority. So
I agree.
Which
I
one?
co-sign.
Exactly. So y'all have to understand as women that you are not the prize.
So you're saying that other men are the prize? Let's just
I'm
be clear.
saying your husband is the prize.
Yes.
Because your husband is the few and the far in between. You can't just go out there and you'll find plenty of dick. You is not finding plenty of men that's going to sit up on an altar in front of everybody in the world and say, I will stick with this woman. I will protect. I will provide. If anybody try to fuck with her, I'll put my life on the line. Therefore, if those are few, so wouldn't that mean that the man is the prize?
I would say yes. I would say yes, Mark. I would definitely, everything that you've said just now, I 100,000% believe, because you have to go through all kind of foolishness to be able to find it. And quite honestly speaking, that's how I feel about my husband. My husband is my diamond in the rough, because you've been through enough foolishness. You know what I'm saying? So yes, I would agree. My husband is the diamond in the rough, and he is the few, and the far and the in between, because they don't make them like him anymore. I agree.
My last question is to you before we move on to the next subject is, why are black women spreading the same message to other black women? Why do we constantly hear black women talking about, yeah, that's right, girl, you speak your truth, girl, you find your truth, girl, yeah, he wasn't poor, he wasn't doing this for you, and he wasn't doing that for you, when you had a man? Because the majority of the majority of divorces are filed by women, and the majority of those divorces are irreconcilable differences. It's not infidelity, it's not abuse. It's irreconcilable differences. So that means that she just got a divorce because she wasn't happy with something, something. And there are going to be so many women like your friend, 50 years old and older, with all these BBLs. And like Kevin Samuel said, you don't make enough money collectively
it's over for your friend
to live by yourself.
It's over. That's what I keep telling her. I keep telling her that.
Hey, listen. Not to get into her business. I don't want her name put out there, but I'm gonna ask you this: is she a six-figure earner?
No.
It's over.
Let me tell you this: she could possibly wind up homeless one day. Does she have kids? Does she have kids? Listen,
she gets security. She good.
No. Social Security in the next 15, 20 years ain't gonna be around. So you're talking about an individual with no kids, no husband, making around $50,000, between $50,000 and $60,000 a year. That's paycheck to paycheck. She doesn't make enough money to invest. She doesn't make enough money to save. She's gonna be a listen, gentlemen, and this is the last statement I'm gonna say before we move to the next subject. Mark my words. In the next 20 years, we will see some of the baddest homeless women ever to walk the earth. We gonna see some of the BBLs all over the goddamn, under the bridge and all over the goddamn place.
My $23 gonna go a long way.
Operator, let's go ahead and move to the last subject of the night.
Kevin Samuel.
Hey, one more drink for Kevin, yo. One more drink for Kevin. Hey, bring DJ Datway up on the screen. I see Datway in the back. We gotta let him go ahead and put his. Hey, DJ, there you go. What's up, dog? What's up, man? Hey, we giving one last drink to Kevin Samuels before we move on for the last subject of the night. Cheers, Kevin Samuels, my brother. You woke up a lot of black men.
Danisha, what's up?
And you broke a lot of women's hearts. Cheers, brother. Cheers. All right, the last subject of the night. Are men and women equal? What's up, co-host? What you got to say first?
I started to say it in the last segment. We are different sides of the same coin. We each bring our own thing to the table. If you mean by equality, I mean, it just depends on where you're going with that question, because there's many different avenues. So do you mean equal social status in America, equal around the world, equal how?
Well, how should I put this? Let's just say, are men and women equal when it comes to, let's start off with finances. Are men and women equal? Do you have the same opportunities as men in 2023 to make just as much money as men? Because I constantly hear, oh, there's a pay gap and women don't get paid as much as men and it's not fair. And women aren't this, women aren't that. And if men left, we would be just fine. Because women, we can handle everything. So let's just start off with finances. Are women, are men and women equal when it comes to opportunity to for income?
So I feel the answer could be a yes, but I think so. The difference between men and women with finances is men are just historically more, what's the word I'm looking for? You're just more a go-getter. You're gonna sell. You guys are used to selling yourselves, whether you are the man that you say you are or not. You're gonna sell it to where you not back. And I've had this happen, you know, where I had a male nurse demand a salary, whereas the same female would kind of accept. Like, we are less, some of us are just less, so we're just less, we're not going to go after it as hard as some men would. So if we are not equal, I don't know that it's, you know, just because society won't let us be, or if it's because we're just not as in, I don't know if ambition is the word, if we're just not as vocal about what we want as many men are.
Can I speak on that?
Go ahead, that way.
The thing about society is it's gonna never be equal because women don't want to do a lot of the jobs men have to do. Women don't volunteer for the most nastiest, dirtiest, grimiest, hardest work in this society, in this country. It's always men doing it. You're never going to see women jumping down septic tank holes to go clean the blockage. So they're not going to ever get paid the salary that a man who takes that type of risk is getting. So when it comes down to it in society, men going to do the jobs that women don't want to do. So when women get to pick and choose their career paths and want equal pay and everything like that, you only want equal pay on the stuff you want to do.
Ooh, shit.
That was deep. I'm not mad at that. Listening that way, I'm not mad at that.
Shooting motherfucking 12 gauge shotgun blast right off the hip.
But I ain't mad at him because I'm not climbing down no shithole. Not gonna happen. So
true. I don't care how much you pay me. It ain't happening. I agree.
I think when I see this shit online, I think it's just a whole bunch of fake sisterhood shit. Like, y'all get online, and I swear to God, I hear it all day, up and down. Girl, that's right, girl. They just be hating on us, and women can't do this, and men get this, and men get these opportunities, and women are held back, and all this other bullshit. And the first thing I say is, okay, so explain this to me. Why does Kim Kardashian and the Kardashians, or the girls from Escape on Housewives of Atlanta, how do these women make more money than the WNBA players?
They're more entertaining.
How's that happen?
It's the entertainment factor.
Yeah, I agree.
It's who they choose to give their money to. That's what it is.
They pull in more revenue.
You are literally choosing to give these women over here that are making you look bad in a bad light, literally, like just promoting you in a worst way ever. You give them your money, you buy their products, you watch their show, but you won't go watch the WNBA.
Oh, because women can't relate to playing the WNBA, but they can relate to putting on makeup. They can relate to shopping online. They can relate to being a trend. They can relate to being wanting attention on Instagram. They can relate to all that. They can't relate to laying up a ball. They can't relate to knowing what a field goal is. It's too hard to understand it.
So, I mean, regardless if you can relate or not, if you say you're supporting each other and you say you got each other's back, last time I checked, it's just as many women out here as it is men, maybe even a few more. How is it that the WNBA best player made $150,000 this year. Why? Because you can't even name who won the NBA, the WNBA championship. You can't even tell me who is the MVP of the league. You can't even tell me who's the best player on the team in your state. Why?
But
You don't
women also women
I don't
also
know about women
sexualize male
everywhere,
sports.
but I don't know that for men either. I don't know that. I don't know who the men.
I know,
one is
but
either.
we're not talking about men. We talking about women supporting
It's just not
women.
my thing.
No, we talking about women supporting women because y'all was talking about not
I'll
you.
support you.
No. Women all across
Danisha,
the
I
internet.
guarantee you,
We're
Danisha, I
talking
guarantee
about
you
that
the name
the
of this.
WNBA should be paid the same as the NBA.
Danisha, I guarantee you can name
It's not fair.
4 NBA players.
They can't get paid if you don't go watch the game.
Danisha, I guarantee you can name these. I'll call some out. You know LeBron James, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Kobe Bryant.
I mean, he's popular.
Yes.
Kobe Bryant.
Of course.
Steph Curry.
Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah.
All right. Now, so everybody root for free Brittany Griner, but has yet to buy a ticket to go and watch Brittany Griner play this season coming up.
Good point.
They
Good
didn't even
fucking
show
point.
up for a meet and greet.
I don't Kobe Bryant or any of those.
So when it comes to the finances, when it comes to the finances, the company I work with, I said it earlier, I work with people. I don't work for them. So the company I work with, we have one technician that happens to be a female. All right. She's a phenomenal technician, but there's only one of them. Only one.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I said it to say this right here. When I hear, and I agree with you, brother DJ. Shout out to that DJ. I'm with you, my brother. But I hear a lot of women that say, "Oh, well, equal pay." This right here. I'm gonna give you this quick story. But here's a build up to it. So at the end of the day, it's not. A company will never ever, even with men, they'll never pay your work. They'll pay you what you negotiate. So with that being said, I remember being in Okinawa, Japan, and we had this female corporal come along. Now let me back it a little bit. Female corporal, she shows up, and the male corporal shows up. Now both are 1341s, which is heavy equipment mechanics. The male NCO corporal, hey, this over here is the tool room. Over here is where the QC at. Right here is where we do the D7s. Over here is where we fix this at. This is your toolbox. You'll get a toolbox. You'll be on the floor. Female comes in. Hey, over here. But do you want to go over here in the company office? This right here. You want to do this? Shout out. Hey, real quick. I want to do this. My Marines, put your hands in the air. How many times have you seen a master sergeant, master gunnery sergeant, sergeant major take that lance corporal female out to the child, but won't take that male out to the child?
All the goddamn time.
Right. So what I'm saying is, there's not necessarily about you won't get in those positions to get you dirty. Nails. What's the average cost of a nails get done? I see you, Lynn. I see your nails. I see y'all.
Between 50 and 100.
I don't know.
Right. Okay. So
yeah, maybe that's right.
Are you gonna be replacing wiper seals on a cylinder with those nails?
Not doing it. No.
Are you gonna lift those boxes and put them up there?
No.
Are you're in the medical field, right?
I am.
Okay. With those nails, are you gonna be the dirty hands within the medical field, or are you gonna scribe it?
No, because to get my hands dirty, to get my hands dirty, they can't look like this. They have to be short, clean, down to the cut, so it's scribing.
Right. So you're scribing is what I'm saying. But you had the female or male. Be honest with this right here. Female or male, would you rather let that male scribe or that female scribe? They're both new nurses, and they're under your care. You're on the spot. The uncomfortable fucking truth.
I honestly don't have a preference. I don't have a preference.
Bullshit.
I don't.
Bullshit.
I don't have a question. So if the only thing that I have to, if the only thing that I'm sorry, Denisha, 1 second. If the only thing that I have to go off of, they're both brand spanking new. I'm gonna let who scribe who I think is the more qualified to do it. And the reason why I'm telling you that, and what's his name, Mr. Ben Good. The reason why I'm telling you that is I'm talking from experience. The reason why I can stand so strongly behind it is from experience. I was put in a position where it was the president of one of the hospitals that I used to work for. I was new. Okay. I did travel nursing for a long time. Right. And I was brand new to the facility. Okay. And there was another male nurse there. Okay. You're talking about apples to apples trying to be, except for the gender, but right. So the fact of the matter is, long story short, apples to apples, I was brand spanking new on the scene. He was already there for he was there for 4 years, right? And he was known to the facility, et cetera, and so forth. But I came in, and within 6 months to a year, I was offered a certain position that both of him and I ran up neck and neck with. So I can't say that. And that's how what has happened to me in my life and how that has come about. I look at that the same way. Today, I had several interviews today. And if I'm going to hire 2 nurses from the college, okay, this is facts. I'm not telling you theory. This is facts. I have 2 nurses. Both of the nurses are brand new. They're both brand new nurses, right? I'm going to hire the one. I'm not going to hire the nurse that chose to be a school nurse. I'm going to hire the nurse that chose to get their hands dirty, to be in the trenches. That's what I look at, because you want to make sure that that person has a skill set that is going to be able to be an asset to your company, regardless of the gender of the person, period.
Let me change the situation. Do y'all ladies agree or disagree that women can do pretty much anything that a man can do in 2023?
I would agree with that.
Okay, you agree. What about you, Denisha?
Can do?
Nope.
Can.
Nope.
Yes.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Here's a few questions. Here's a few questions.
Different story.
Here's a few questions. If women are equal to men, why aren't you on the selective service list?
I can be.
Is that for the Army?
Do I want to be?
See, that's the crazy thing. You don't even know what it is.
I don't know what that is.
That's the most equal pay you can get.
Yeah, the selective service.
Soon you turn 18, you have no choice.
See, every man in America, every man in America has to register once they turn 18 on selective service to be eligible to be pulled in the draft for military service if needed. If something goes awry, if somebody it comes across this ocean and invades America, and we don't have enough boots on ground because we got people in Korea, we got people in Japan, we got people over in Europe, we got people in Guam, then we're going to have to pull resources from here, right here in the States. Mm-hmm. Women are not even on it at all.
Okay, so let me tell you this, Mark. So your question is not the same as the example that you're giving, because can women do it now? Absolutely, they can do it. But are there liberties that men are afforded to that, like this example right now is that, that's one of the things historically that is what they do. Why they do it, I don't know why they do it, and they choose men and they don't choose women. But if women had to enroll, we could.
Y'all don't have a problem fighting to go be CEOs of companies and fighting to run for Congress and fighting to be able to vote. But for some reason, all of the feminists just happen to miss the fact that only men are on the selective service list. You're not on it at all. Oh, because you don't want to get
though.
Right. I don't know. Yeah.
It's the United States. It's the United States government. No, it's not a volunteer. It's by law. You have to.
As soon as you turn 18, you must sign up for
it's for the draft.
Service.
It's for the draft.
What'd you say?
The law means that. Does that mean the pool if none of us are on?
You're going in and out. Say it one more time.
That's enough. I'm asking,
I don't know.
Does that mean that the law says we don't?
The law says you do not have to register.
Can you hear me?
The law says you do not have to register.
Is okay.
So, but
I
that's
don't
the
know.
crazy.
Well,
That's
that's
what I'm
why we
saying.
ain't on it.
Where's the outrage?
Where's the outrage to be equal
Where's
in
the
that though?
outrage? We're equal, right?
Oh, I see
Where's
what you're
the
saying.
outrage?
I see what you're saying.
You see what I'm
I
saying
see what
now?
you're saying. Yeah,
Where's
I
the
see what you're
outrage?
saying. I see what you're
Where's the
saying.
equality at?
Like I said, y'all want equality where it's convenient for y'all, where y'all want it at. Y'all don't want equality across the board, because if y'all want equality across the board, y'all be getting treated just like men every day for the same crimes instead of getting slapped on the wrist or the cheek getting turned for y'all's actions sometimes, because y'all do get the benefit of doubt in the court system. Let's not lie about it, especially when it comes to the parenting system. If you want to talk about equality, let's talk about how black men are better parents in this time, this day and age, and it's been proven to be so. So simple fact of the matter is this: it's still bias in the court system. So there is no equality that y'all show favor for. Like I said, y'all want equality where it's convenient for y'all, where y'all want it at. Y'all don't want equality across the whole board.
Because last time I checked, every job that has to do with the
Okay. I drink to you, DJ.
every job that has to do with the infrastructure, every job, electricians, plumbers, welders, miners, engineers, across the board, you name it.
Right now,
It's 85+% men in every category, every one of them. Now we go nursing, comfortable, sometimes sitting in a hospital, air conditioning. You know what I'm saying? If we go teaching, if we go corporate,
frontline, different level of frontline.
Different level of what?
Frontline.
Go ahead.
But see,
what
y'all,
nursing is a different level of a front line.
You can't make this shit up.
That's
okay. You can't make this shit up.
Front lines,
come on. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Not all
what?
Not all nurses is on the front line. There's a lot of nurses that ain't doing shit.
I'm saying, if you're gonna,
and we ain't even gonna talk about all these fake nurses that have just popped up with the goddamn fake goddamn fake licenses and shit. We ain't even gonna talk about that. We ain't gonna talk about all the fake ass motherfuckers out there that got their Fisher Price My First Nursery goddamn license.
It ain't me.
And just showed up at the hospital with a goddamn Marine Corps coin stamp on the back of a goddamn piece of paper, and all of a sudden now listen. All I'm saying is this: we hear you as men. We hear you talking about equality, but we're not dumb. We can see what's happening, and we can see what's not happening. We can see what you march for. We can see what you complain about, and we can also see what you are avoiding. We're not stupid. And when we hear this notion and this rhetoric across all these social media platforms that women could do anything men could do, well, goddamn it, show us. Get your ass outside and start laying some of these goddamn bricks. Get your ass under these streets and start cleaning some of these pipes. We want to see it, because I guarantee you, if every man in America decided to take a strike month, especially in the winter, it'd be a whole bunch of dead bitches in this motherfucker. Because last time I checked, all the HVAC motherfucking licenses is 90% men. So when that heat go out in the middle of motherfucking January up in Baltimore, and your titties is about to bust from goddamn frozen milk in them bitches, who you gonna call?
Let's talk about linemen and all these natural disasters. Let's talk about linemen.
You talking about firemen?
Linemen. I'm talking about the wiremen, the ones that climb up on the daggone towers. And
that's 98% men. So when y'all say y'all are equal to men, these are the things we like to bring up in conversations, because y'all's faces look totally different than what it did when we first started this conversation.
I just had to know what you was talking about. I just had to know
I agree. I was gonna say, now that you clarified it, no, I'm good. You're right. Because there's some things that my husband does that I'm grateful. I'm like, honey, I was like, yeah, you gonna take care of that, baby? You got this? Okay, good. I agree. I agree.
Jeffrey, what you gotta say? What you gotta say, Jeff?
You know, I talk about this a lot of the times. It's not equal and it's not fair. It's just like my man said. It's only equal when it is in something that they want or in their favor. And you could go down the line, like he said, with parenting. If you look at who has full custody of children, I guarantee you is the larger percentage is women.
Hey
They
Jeff,
always
hold on 1 second, Jeff. I didn't mean to interrupt you. We got a comment. It's National Women's Month. Do men have a month?
Oh,
look,
hey, that
I'm,
nigga spitting.
Go ahead, Jeff. We'll speak on that as soon as you get done. Go ahead.
you can look at it. I tell people, recently you've seen a lot on TV with the women's pay. We want equal pay, equal rights. We want to be treated the same. Well, why don't y'all pay for some of these drinks then? You see what I'm saying? pay for the drinks. You want equal pay, but you don't want to pay for the first date. You want a man to be the provider. Hold up, y'all want a man to be the provider, but then y'all want to make the same amount of money, but then go do your hair and your nails and ride in luxury cars with y'all money while we spending it on the bills, the mortgage, and everything else. The same thing with full custody. When the baby is born, they give that baby to the woman. They don't give that baby to the man. They give it to the woman, and it's like a woman.
A man got to fight for his right as a father.
Exactly. If a woman give up a child for adoption, they say, oh, she was brave. She did the right thing. If she go take a plan B, she was being responsible. If she go get an abortion, they don't fault her. But can a man walk in child support court and say, get a little nigga up for adoption?
Message. Ooh.
The man can't do that. It ain't equal. Can we say, we told her to get an abortion. I told her to get an abortion. She ain't want to get it. But now I'm a deadbeat dad. Now I got to take care of her and the rest of her children. You see what I'm saying? It ain't equal across the board. It ain't nowhere near being equal. I go on and on and on about situations like that.
And to add to what he said, if we're equal, why, if I am the father of the child and you're the mother of the child, I gotta have a home with an extra bedroom for my daughter. You gotta have a home with a bedroom for your child. I gotta have a car with an extra seat. I can't have a 2-door. I need to have a 4-door car just like you. Why is it that I got to pay for all my stuff by myself and then assist you to help pay for your shit when we both equally got to have and provide all the same motherfucking shit?
It's like if you're at home with your girl and you hear a window break or something like that, you the man, you got to get the gun and say, hold up, let me see what the hell going on downstairs. I heard
expected to lay our life down.
We got to open the door for you. It's ladies first, and that's just being a gentleman. That's just the way I was raised. Is ladies first, open the door for, you know what I'm saying? I was raised, you ain't even really supposed to curse in front of a woman, all that type of stuff. So it ain't equal. So and I'm cool with that. I'm cool with it not being equal. But what get on my nerves is when I see people on TV talking about equal rights, equal this, equal that. Well, like you say, if you want it to be equal, let's make it equal all the way across the board then. Go take out the damn trash.
I think Denise and I will defer. We're not in that category of women. We're just gonna leave that alone.
Yeah.
We're not there.
Can I say something?
Because we need our men.
Hold on. Let Stanley go real quick. He ain't got to say nothing. Go ahead, Stanley.
I ain't referring to Denisha and Lynn, but in 2023, most of the women bigger than the men anyway. Why they ain't the protectors?
Oh God!
I'm gonna sit. If you moving.
Time is over.
If you bigger than me, I'm gonna need you to get on up there.
God damn it, Stanley.
I can't make this shit up.
Boy,
You can't make this shit up.
I almost choked. Boy, you caught me off guard with that shit.
Fatality.
Go ahead, that way. Go ahead, finish what you were saying.
All right, so to harp on what they were just saying, how I feel like everybody who has a voice in these topics aren't the ones that are the subject of the discussion. It's from our observations on what we see of the people who represent the ones who are running their mouth. See, with us, we got married people in here right now, but we observe from the outside looking in because we used to be in there. So now we feel offended by some of the things that are said about us because we the ones doing what we supposed to be doing. But yeah, still we trying to be the voice for correction in this. That's why we be doing this public, these platforms, because we speaking from experience, and there are a lot of people, these people that in here making these comments who don't have the girth or the fortitude to jump up in the panel to speak their mind, realize that they are just speaking off of what they read in the comments. They're not doing their due diligence. They haven't lived in the experience. They just speaking out the side of their neck. So then you got people like us on this panel who's read it and be like, okay, you sound like a backwards, like you sound crazy right now. Like it ain't really like that out here. But we've all experienced F boys and F girls. We've all witnessed actions of toxic men and women, and we also have grown from that point. So we also gotta understand, like we get a lot of we get offended easily, but we ain't the subjects that we discuss on the panel. So I feel like on people's panels, they take it personal. And I like, oh, that's why I said I appreciate you saying that, because a lot of people take these panels personally when we speaking in a general prospect of these things. So, and another thing I wanted to speak on with Jeffrey, if we want to talk about equality, until a man has the equal right to abort child support like a woman does to do a fetus, it's never going to be equal. The choice is going to always be a woman, and when it comes to parenthood, y'all going to always have the final say so. But y'all don't want to hear that. I'm not
So,
saying y'all.
I mean, I just want to say, let's remember. So I understand now, are men and women equal? Let's remember why. I mean, the why. Why is this even a thing? Because historically, women have been so, I guess, set below men that I think it started out as they just want to have a little bit of a foothold. They want to have a little bit of a voice. And I'm sorry, sir, but there are still countries today where women don't have a voice. You know what I mean? They
And,
still
and,
today don't have one. So I think that's the why it's
the
an
heavy
issue.
influence came from the Western output of society, because before the white people uh, was started, because black men had right to vote before them. There was no, our black women didn't have no problem playing their role in the family. That's why we was able to build Black Wall Street. That's why we was able to have our self-sufficient communities, because everybody played their role. Men were providers, women were nurturers, taking care of the home. We knew what natural role of society was supposed to be. Destruction of European or Western influence has taken a tremendous toll. So everywhere you see a Western influence, you're going to see women struggling for equality.
I mean, still, I mean, those
If you
Pakistanians,
look
they
at
are not.
history, history has proven it. Before Western influence comes into effect, there is no problems. There is nobody fighting for equality. There's actually growth
Yeah.
because of the support behind it. Everybody supported their roles. The man was providing, the woman was supporting because the man was breaking his back. The woman was the one being able to take care of kids. Women, the reason why men and women ain't equal is because women are able to nurture a child to a level because of the physical bond that they grow with a child. A man is able to be a proper disciplinarian because he doesn't have that physical bond with the child. So the balance that is equally yoked to be there for both parents is the reason why it's necessary for both of them to be there, but which is why they're not equal, because neither one of them can do it alone. Neither one of them have it naturally in themselves to do it alone. That's why it's important to have a father and a mother, because when a mother is doing what she's doing it from a nurturing, motherly protective spot. When it comes from a man, it's coming from a discipline, a structure, place of mind, because for one, he don't have that physical attraction, but he has that love and that connection because that is his seed. So he is going to be there to guide it with a
Logic.
firm hand and logical, not emotionally, because I'm not, you didn't grow in me. I don't
I
feel
wish
the
you were here
essence
on the
of,
first segment. I wish you were here on the first segment.
and I was dealing with, I was talking the wedding quote and getting everything lined out. I'm sorry about that, Mark, but the
It's
bag,
okay.
the bag.
Sorry.
So, but yeah, and I'm sorry, but like it all falls through into the simple fact that we all important in our own aspect, and we lost sight of that. We too busy being in competition, and we so divided for who got the power when we both got the power equally. And that's what we need to understand, is that we need to wash each other's hands and have each other's back when it
And
comes
we
to raising these
balance each other.
kids. Balance. That's what it comes
We
down to.
balance each other. I,
Okay, final thoughts. I believe that yes, when it comes to a union in a home and a family, we are definitely equally important. I just off of the results in the first topic when it comes to do fathers matter, I was just going off of the results. I understand our place in this world, but if we just go off the results of how children are reacting, no, we don't matter because you're not listening. So, but in this topic, I just want to say, ladies, I appreciate what you said on the panel, but I need you to go out in public and start saying this shit because we're tired as men of hearing this bullshit about we're equal. And we know goddamn straight we're not, because when it comes out to the workforce and when it comes to making this country continue to move forward, it is the men that are bearing the majority of the weight. And that's all it is to it. Women, we know you're important. We know you have important places and important roles. But when it comes to the actual, when the rubber meets the road, there's always going to be a group of men down there making sure that everything's still turning the way it should be. Everybody want to give their last thoughts before I close out the show? Denisha, you go first.
I believe, listen, I believe we do each have our place. We each have our roles. And kind of what he said, men, women, we balance each other out. So that's my final thought on it. I mean, are we equal? When you put us together, we make a strong unit when we're put together. So there you go. That's what I have to say.
Go ahead, Lynn. Final thoughts.
So, final thoughts is number one, I want to thank Denisha for inviting me to this podcast. I'd never been on one before. So, this was a lot of fun. And yeah, these subjects are pretty intense. They make you really like question not just things superficially, but you know, we went deeper than just scratching the surface. So, I enjoyed being a part of this. You know, I don't know how often or when this runs or whatever, but this was a lot of fun, and we covered a lot of different things to make us start viewing things a little bit differently as well.
Every Wednesday at 9 o'clock. Make sure you subscribe and share, right? And make sure you push the notification bell so every time we're on, it reminds you, hey, Uncomfortable Truth is on. Stanley, last words.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna direct this to the women. It is my opinion that the women is the strongest force in the house. I just think that women have to get out of the habit of trying to make men think the way that they do. Now, I maintain my position. I don't get into feelings. I don't deal with emotions. I don't deal with tears. But that woman is still, to me, the strongest person in that house. And where women win is with their femininity and their power of suggestion. It be them soft whispers, and we hear that. We hear that, but just we're naturally competitive. Men are. So if you stick your chest out to me, I'm gonna accept that challenge.
And I understand that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Stanley. Go ahead, Jeffrey. Last words.
All right, thank y'all for having me. I really enjoyed it. Even though we debate on a lot of subjects, it's all about us working together as men and women, especially Black people. So even though things ain't equal, we still want the best for each other. So that's all I wanted to say.
All right. Okay, DJ Datway, give me your last thoughts for the evening, sir.
Focus on you. Maintain your peace.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I
like
appreciate all y'all. I hope to see y'all here next week. Operator, let's send them back and give me the front and the beginning and the end of the stage. Okay, another week of the Uncomfortable Truth. It felt weird without my co-host, JB, without jumping them back and forth on my neck. But, we got through it. I'm pretty sure she'll be back next week for all those out there that missed her. We talked about, do fathers matter? Well, through the conversation, I heard, both sides of the table. But it's still my belief that if you have a father in your home and he spends the majority of your life trying to teach you to avoid trouble, bad times, and unnecessary negativities, and you purposely go against his word to go and fall in those traps, his time in life and yours didn't matter because you didn't listen. So if you do have a father, you might want to think about that before you make some of those decisions that go against his teachings. Make sure that the time that he invested in your life matters. Secondly, we talked about, was Kevin Samuels right? Are these individuals out here being delusional and messing up the community just by the requirements and the choices that they're making on a daily basis? My answer is yes. But I also say that his teachings in this short time that we was blessed to have his words made a great effect on the Black community, and it's opened eyes for men and women. And the youth is hearing these conversations, whether you believe it or not. So even though he's not here with us in person, in spirit, he's living through many, many men. And we are continuing to push his legacy and his words. Lastly, we talked about, are men and women equal? Well, there was a lot of conversation about pay, requirements, request, an actual family dynamic. And we was able to find that in some situations and circumstances, we are equally necessary for it to work. But we was also able to establish that men are the bearers of most of the hard work that keeps this machine we call the United States rolling. And we should respect those hardworking men that are out there right now as we speak, in the cold, in the wet, in danger, to keep us safe and keep this world going so our children can enjoy the same liberties we've had. And that is the uncomfortable truth of the day. I'm your host, Mr. Mark McBride. I will see you next week, same bat channel, same bat time. Good night, everybody.